In more than 20 years of being over here at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, I can tell you that this WEF, this Davos, is perhaps the most consequential. And that has a great deal to do with what we are seeing around us, around the world. The dramatic difference or change in relations between Europe and the United States is perhaps a dominating theme. We've got a wonderful newsroom over here. This is our Davos WEF Bureau. I've volunteered to be here throughout the year. But Rahul Kawal with us, Ayush Ailavadi and Tamanna Inamdar. First to you, 2 days from now, Rahul, will the future of the relationship between America and Europe be defined?
You know, it's a cycle, Vishnu. You know, you're a long-time Davos watcher. A few months before Davos, it feels like the World Economic Forum is no longer as exciting as it used to be. The things are going down. Ab wo maza nahi hai. You know, life's moved on. And just as you build up to WEF, you know, the excitement starts to peak. Just the fact that you've got not just Donald Trump, but 6 of the G7 leaders coming, and that this is the biggest WEF that they've organized. And just look at the theme. The theme is a spirit of dialogue. This theme was locked in September, when to a lot of people it seemed very blasé, you know, just like a spirit of dialogue. That's not very cutting edge, it's not very forward looking, it's not edgy. And suddenly, given what's happening around the world at the moment with Greenland, Iran, it just seems so prescient. And therefore, you know, it's just one of those things that just comes together. And now what a showcase this is going to be. Not just the fact that Trump is here. He's doing a lot of meetings on the sidelines. He'll be here for 24 hours. And therefore, a lot of world leaders, business delegates coming in to meet with Trump. And the fact that he's coming on this platform, nobody has a clue about what he's going to say. A certain amount of anxiety around that. But then WEF is a platform. He comes and he says what he does. And the whole world will watch what happens through this week at WEF again.
Yeah. Can I just say that a little birdie has confirmed to me something which the Tamanna sort of got earlier on in the day, that there will be senior Indian business leaders meeting Donald Trump. There'll be, it's not a one-on-one between Indian leaders, it'll be a huge conglomeration of international leaders, leading Indian industrialists. I can name them, but maybe I should not yet. Will be meeting him. But you pick that up, and that's important because that trade link really works out over here at the WEF.
You know, so Trump is the headline no matter where you are in the world. We talk about Trump in Delhi, in Mumbai, and we're talking about Trump in Davos. But yes, for business leaders, I know that for a fact because a lot of meetings are getting switched up last minute to accommodate these meetings with Trump. And of course, everyone wants to hear his address on Wednesday. That's going to be the big one. But if I look at this Davos, and it seems like a party where everyone's invited and not a lot of the people like each other. Because think of what Macron has been posting about the 10% tariffs, Zelensky has been saying, and then they all come in one room. I mean, I wonder if they're going to talk to each other at all.
No, but that comes back to the theme of WEF this year, Vishnu, which is a spirit of dialogue. They have to talk. In fact, there's an America House for the first time. There used to be a church. Yes. They've turned it into an America House, not far from where we are. And it's very interesting that all these people, they may hate each other, Tamanna, but they have no option but to be on the same dialogue table and have a conversation.
Yeah, the presence of India, I just want to add the presence of Indian business here. And of course, you expect the big ones. They're there every year. But this time round, you have real estate developers, you have family offices. I met some of them on the flight, PE investors. And that's also, you know, it's a bit of a badge that you turned up at Davos.
So it's become a bit of a showcase.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
So many MOUs were signed at Davos, and this is the quantum of investment that came. And each state trying to outmuscle the other by having a bigger headline number. And that's now just a part of the package, as it were.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ayush, tech, how is that center over here in Davos this year?
It takes center stage, Vishnu. I mean, just walking around, we've been here the past couple of days, walk around and see the branding from each and every company, each and every pavilion. And it's AI, tech, automation. That's literally what everyone's talking about. But also, you think about it, a lot of these decisions being made by world leaders and the cycle that Rahul spoke of, in AI, they call it the AI super cycle, right? Because now we've come to that part where AI is there, it's ubiquitous, everyone's talking about it, it's the next big thing. It is the big thing happening right now. But then where does the infrastructure come from? The status quo in terms of the internet infrastructure in the world cannot cope with it. What is that responsible solution? What is that sustainable solution? And with some of these world leaders, I think all the talks of growth and development are almost obsolete or redundant if you do not talk about a tech stack. And I think that's why it takes center stage. Also, some of the rock stars of tech will be here. We have NVIDIA's Jensen Huang. We have the folks at OpenAI. We'll be covering all of these things. But I think it really does, right? The solution to the problem. Like I said, when we landed here, we were talking, Vishnu and I, I said, might be the problem, but it's also probably the panacea.
Oh, but can I just jump in right now? Here's Ayush standing in the snow, taking a selfie, looking very handsome and things like that. It's a video, right? It's not a photo, it's a video. And I go right behind him and crash into the snow.
But he's paragliding, yeah. That was probably one of the best. I think we should do this as an outtake, all our favorite bloopers from Davos, because it's one of the biggest Davos conferences. It's also the biggest media contingent here, all of us. I think we have a lot of moments.
You
like
guys
this.
have been paragliding, going up the Magic Mountain,
You've been skiing. Yeah.
People back home might be watching it, काम भी कर रहे हैं या सिर्फ मस्ती कर रहे हैं, not realizing how much effort there is. You know, a few years ago, crypto was everywhere. Then Web3 was everywhere. Now AI is centered to so many of the conversations, so much so that TCS, the chai stall, is now called Chai AI, CHAI. So there's AI in your chai as well. That's how front and center AI is to so many of the conversations. And just the fact that people like Demis Hassabis and all are thinking we're so close to AGI, and that again makes it, Ayush, very, very exciting. You've been traveling the world to a lot of tech conferences. Yeah. Tell us what you've picked up elsewhere and where you think AI will be through the year.
Chief, it's kind of interesting. Like they say, sometimes Koi ka menda. We travel to tech conferences, and there the hero is tech, right? So it's all of us from the media contingent, from the CEOs, from the founders, and over here it's all the tech guys representing a massive market. When I say massive, it is massive, right? The AI market currently is nearly $500 billion US. In terms of 40 to 50% growth, is projected to hit nearly $5 trillion before 2033. That's a conservative estimate. So when we go to these big tech conferences around the world, it's interesting because a lot of these conversations we have and we speak of on our shows are on background. We're not supposed to be having them on record. But we do question some of these things, like the AI bubble that we're going to be talking about over here as well. But I think this is kind of more interesting because you're going to grill them out here. It's the ocean, all the sharks are here. We're not the frog in the pond at this point. So I think it's going to be fascinating to grill some of these.
And they're all on the promenade.
They're all on the promenade.
From Meta to Google, Capgemini, each one of them on the promenade. So that way,
so many are Indian, right? HCL Tech, Infosys,
Yeah. But they're always
TCS, right directly opposite the big India sort of building, as it were. My point is that this is a mini India every year.
Oh, yes.
And this year is no different. How have you, Rahul, seen this?
but it's very different.
evolve?
Vishnu. No, but
That's
it's different.
my question.
Different because earlier, each of the states had their own pavilion, which always seemed like a big waste to me. So Andhra would be doing its own thing, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. Now what they've done is that they put everyone in the same Europe hotel. And the advantage is, so you go from Assam to Telangana to Uttar Pradesh back to back, which in some ways, I mean, it's obviously A, more cost efficient, B, it's also the way you want to project the India story, because otherwise, it's like you're trying to, it's like a rally. In a political context, you're trying to bring more people to your rally, or your event was bigger, or your sessions were bigger. Here, they're all part of that same India story. At least that's the effort. I mean, there's some underpinnings and undercurrents to that, but at least that's the effort that's being made, Vishnu. How have you seen things change?
No, I think I agree with you. I think the fact that you've got a lot of these India pavilions of various states all together, that's one big deal. I see a greater India presence in terms of corporates than in the past. Everybody's interested in seeing what happens with trade and sanctions and all of that. And the India tech story, particularly in the United States with H1B, also a big focus. So you're going to have to wait and see what happens.
No, but also before you wrap up, just look at how cold these two fellows are. It's not that cold. Everybody who's been coming to Davos for a while is saying that this time garmi hai.
But Rahul, I must say, that's the only way viewers would know that we are the first timers and these are the veterans right here. We're the newbies.
We're the newbies as far as Davos
Leering up.
is concerned. No, but I think
No, but I've seen years here, and Vishnu has too, where it's been snowing non-stop. Relative to that, this is as pleasant can be. It is not cold, Tamanna and Ayush.
I'm going to tell myself that. But for right now,
let's also hope that it snows some more, because Davos without the snow during WEF is a bit of a disappointment. But look, we can keep chatting, and I suppose we will do that in the days ahead. We are calling it NDTV Ignite in Davos also because we've got some very special programming coming up, including conversations with the finest minds from India and indeed around the world.
Possibly the biggest NDTV delegation in a long while. NDTV was
long time.
India's #1 station at Davos, and the undisputed kings and queens of Davos, as it were. This is a huge delegation, not just the crew here, our producers, our video journalists, our crews out on the promenade, a massive show of strength by them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I can't think of a better venue. This is where it all happens. It's not just a talk shop. This is where there are genuine ideas that make a difference for people across the world. We leave it there, come back to you from Davos with a lot more over the next 1 week. Stay tuned.